Can you blow all the breath out of your mouth and then try to scream? Here, I'll do it. This. Okay. I'll do it first. Okay.
That's pretty good. Better than some of the ones I've heard.
That hurt. Okay. I don't know if I got all the air out.
Okay.
I'm just clenching my butthole trying to get all the air out. I have to try if I can get all the air out again. Why did I breathe in?
I feel like it helps.
That's all I could get out, and that actually did hurt. I know! There was so much strain.
I feel like a balloon. I feel like I'm gonna go like any harder. I'm just gonna poop.
That's how I feel too.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the What Was That podcast. I'm Jazzy.
And I'm Addi.
So some of you may know that we are both animal lovers. I have 2 cats.
Yeah, and I have 2 cats and 2 dogs.
Huh? Sorry, 2 dogs?
Yeah, Hank and Quentin. Because he's got that dog in him.
You know, good for you, girl. Good for you. Anyway, I would say there's a pretty hard boundary on where your love for animals goes.
Yeah, for sure. There isn't anything wrong with being a furry or liking occasional role play or anything. We're never going to kink shame. But there is a point where you fly a little too close to the sun and it gets real weird.
So then we get into the territory of how weird is weird. Are they human? Are they animal? These are some malicious mammals. Story 1.
The backstory.
I'm going to skip that. It's so millennial.
I was like, this was written by a millennial.
This is like millennial circa, 10 years ago?
Less story.
Yeah. Ugh, I get it now. I get it. I'm sorry to all the Gen Z who I've come after and been like, why do you hate us so much? Here we are. Story 1, Wolfman. Le backstory.
No, don't say it.
Okay, backstory. My friend and I had a band together when we were young, about 15 or 16 years old. His dad works at a low-income housing authority, a place where a lot of the nearly unemployable people live because, well, they're batshit insane.
Okay.
All right. In the fall, this place would sell baked goods and pumpkins for picking, turn a patio into a haunted house by setting up curtains. It was a tiny thing, but pitch dark inside and had a bunch of creepy Halloween stuff. In this little hut, a couple bands would play, us included. The festivities were open to the public. The story. My friend and I, and a third kid we were friends with, were chilling around the general area, scaring kids in the haunted house. We helped set everything up. Eventually, my dad tells us that there's someone who wants to help with the haunted house. Okay, cool, whatever. Let's go see what this kid wants. We approach the haunted house and see a short, fat man with long, black, greasy hair, a neck beard, and a lazy eye. He had a bag with him and spoke in sort of a nasally voice. He introduced himself. I honestly don't remember what his name was. We've just always referred to him as the Wolfman. And he showed us the contents of his bag. He had a mask, a cape, a fake sword, basically a little creepy getup. Okay. He explained that he wanted to help with the haunted house. What makes the story even creepier is how properly he spoke. Like, this kind of person was way too into medieval lore as a teenager. You're sounding judgy. It sounds like a milady.
Yeah.
My friends and I decided...
It sounds like I'm a lady. You sound judgy. It sounds like I'm a lady.
But yeah.
I'm judgy.
My friend decided to man the door to the haunted house to let kids in. They sent me in with the Wolfman. He took one corner of the haunted house and I took the other. He gave me specific instructions on what to say to the kids that came through. Something along the lines of, turn back mortals. Oh, oh, oh. I'm not a very good actor, so he would repeatedly harass me about how weak my performance was and beseech me to be more convincing.
Beseech me.
Are you a milady?
Yeah, right. Why are you complaining about how he talks?
Their band was actually jazz band.
Really bad, too.
When the kids would walk past me to get to him, he would turn on a strobe light and scream in a deep, bellowing voice things like, foolish mortals, you have reached hell, and now your souls will be mine. He made several small children cry. After maybe 20 or 30 minutes alone inside this hut with this crazy murder guy, I decided to ditch him and see what the fuck my friends were doing. As it turns out, they had found a gator riding cart and just started driving around without me. Rude. Wolfman noticed my absence and came to seek us out. He caught up with us and basically tried to make friends with us. His namesake came from when he asked us if we liked werewolves and explained that he's written a series of novels in which werewolves aren't the bad guys, as they always seem to be made out in the media. He asked if we'd be interested in reading them. Throughout all this, we're just walking around the festival area trying like hell to ditch this guy. We sat down to watch an acoustic guitarist perform, and he sat next to us. There's a small audience for the performer, and Wolfman insisted on getting on stage with the guitarist and singing Eye of the Tiger, of which he only knew the first verse and the chorus. He eventually left the festival after a while, and we began driving the gator. But he came back, and I'll never forget sitting in the back of the gator, yelling at my friend to gun it because we had made eye contact with Wolfman. Later that day, my friends had explained that he talked to the guy. We asked him to because we were pretty fucking freaked out. Apparently, he explained that he was thinking of purchasing some pumpkins and perhaps asked some young men he met to help them carry them back to his house on the road. That's when his dad kicked him out. I do think maybe the guy was just a little
off.
I imagine Zach Galifianakis this entire...
Yeah, this entire time I'm like, there's just this weird guy who really wants to make friends.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know how.
No, he's like, you guys like werewolves? You want to read my novel?
Yeah, you guys like werewolves? And I agree, wolves are always portrayed negatively in media. I love wolves. But
how's the Red Riding Hood book going?
It was good.
Big bad wolf.
I finished it, yeah.
Big bad wolf.
Yeah, it wasn't all that I was wanting.
Yeah.
So I need to seek out another. Mm-hmm. But I did get the second book to the Hades and Persephone book that I was reading not too long ago. Finally, It came up on my Hold on Libby. And the narrator for it is a guy that sounds like he is reading off a proctor at a doctor's office.
Don't like that.
Yeah, it's really, really unfortunate because I don't want to listen to it.
No.
You know, I was listening and I was like... So.
And then he took his big throbbing... So yeah, I don't know. It just sounds like a guy who doesn't know how to make friends.
And he didn't do anything weird in the haunted house. I think the only thing that he did in the haunted house was just
scare children.
Act and do what you're supposed to do in a haunted house. Okay, do you want to hear a story about a weird wolf guy I worked with at a haunted house?
What if I said no? Like, obviously yes, but like, what if I was like, no? Anyway.
So... I was like 16.
Okay.
Well, preface there. The guy was like 25, 26, 27, 28.
I already don't like where this is going.
Somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
So I worked at this haunted house when I was younger in high school. And everybody there is... You know, they're a little quirky. It's like any haunted house you go to, there's a very specific type of person that works in a haunted house.
Yeah.
Which I can't say anything because I did for multiple years.
In case you're wondering what that person looks like. Ding.
Yeah, I do help. There you go. There's a picture of me right here. But there was this guy who always wore this, like, half wolf mask and then would, like, paint the bottom part of his face.
Okay.
But he had been working at this haunted house for, like, years. A very long time.
Yeah.
And his girlfriend also worked there. And they had been together and were, like, engaged
Okay.
for a very long time.
Gotcha.
And then I was there. I had my little group of friends.
Yeah.
And he would always come up and try to, like, mingle with our friends. Like,
Yeah.
all the time. All the time. And it was always like, hey. So, flash forward. Him and his girlfriend break up. And he was, like, came up to me at work one night, like, while I was alone in a room. Came up to me, like, had to go through the whole haunted house to find me.
Yeah.
And he was like, do you want to go on a date? And I was like, sure.
Yeah.
Like, I'm young. I was like, he's kind of attractive, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not thinking, like, oh, that
You're
person's,
16.
like,
You're not,
like, 10 years older than me. But he picked me up from my house, and I was living with my friends, so it wasn't my house, but he picked me up from my house, and he was, like, in this, like, shitty little beat-up car, and I got in, and I had to move boxes of McDonald's out from my feet when I got into the car.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, cool, hey, it reeks like cigarettes, and I'm just sitting there, my body is turned towards the door, already uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And he was like, all right, well, where do you want to go to dinner? And I was like, I don't know. And he said, how about Wendy's? I said, okay. Texted my friend. I said, where are you?
Yeah.
And they texted me back and they were like, oh, all of us are at IHOP. And I was like, I'm coming. Give me 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I was like, do you think we could go hang out with my friends at IHOP? And he was like, yeah. So he took us through the drive-thru of Wendy's.
Yeah.
He kept looking at me. He's like, you want anything? I'm like, no, dog. I'm so good. Thank you.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was texting them and I was like, all right, can you guys pay? Like, be ready to leave. So we pulled up to the IHOP and I got out. I power walked in that bitch. I was not even waiting for him. I was like, give me out. I walk inside and I look at all my friends. I was like, get me the fuck out of this. And I sit down and I was just like, like laughing. God. And I see him walk in and come over to the table. And he was like, oh, hey, like, nice to meet you guys. Because it's a different friend group.
Yeah.
And they all were like, we're actually just like, they saw him and they were like, oh, no.
Yeah.
And they were like, we're actually just leaving. So, yeah, I pretty much got up and left with them.
Work again?
No, see, the thing that worked out so well, it was, like, at the end of the season. Because I did not see him again after that.
That's good.
So, and then I didn't work there again. So.
Yeah.
So.
Ew.
But I thought about, like, going to the stage manager. If I was, like, planning on working there the next year, I plan on going to her and, like, asking to be kept out of his section.
Yeah, fair.
So, but I didn't. I would go back and I'd, like, visit and I would see everybody else. But I don't remember seeing him, so. Yeah.
I just don't. As someone who's been both 18 and 28, I don't get looking at someone who's that much younger and being like
16 too. Like
16? Yeah, no.
Literally, like, I am a child. I'm a child.
Yep.
So,
I don't. Ew.
Yeah.
Shout out to your friends.
Yeah, truly.
But even then, I still don't like anything that he did. Like, where do you want to go? Oh, excuse all my
Wendy's.
McDonald's boxes.
Yeah.
You want to go to Wendy's?
On a date.
Yeah.
Literally to a Wendy's. Yeah, no.
Well, Wendy's is obviously the classier option. McDonald's is every day.
Yeah, that's so true. I actually would feel like Whataburger is, like, the top, like, that's the...
I would go for that, yeah.
That's the black tie option.
I haven't had one of those in so long.
I love Whataburger.
Yeah.
I think my Wolfman story is scarier, to be honest.
I would say yours is scarier, because no, this just sounded like... And then it just sounds like a guy who had no friends at this thing.
Yeah.
Wanted to spook some kids.
He sounds like he takes the haunted house really seriously, which, again, it goes back to there's only one type of person who works on haunted house.
So, yeah. I wonder if he knows the girl from the last episode who's like, no one will read my novels.
Oh, my God. They're all werewolf smut. That's why nobody wants to read them, because it's about her traumatic parents' divorce, but they're all werewolves and they're all fucking.
Yeah, they're like, I don't want to read that, man.
Yeah.
Do it.
I started this series. I did not get anywhere in it because I got really bored of it really fast. Mm-hmm. But there was a series by Patricia Briggs.
Okay.
And it's a werewolf series, but it follows this woman. She's really hot. So I started these books.
Okay.
But I got really bored, and I don't know if it was because I didn't like because the story was interesting, but it was like I don't think I liked the audiobook narrator.
Honestly, a narrator could be make or break.
Yeah. That's what I started reading, and so I kind of thought about that too.
Yeah.
Why do they call him Wolfman?
Because he brought up, he's like, do you want to read my novels about...
Well, they said they call him Wolfman before, right?
Long,
black, greasy hair, a neck beard, and a lazy eye.
I'm sorry, not everyone's beautiful. And people have interests like werewolves. Yeah,
just let them live.
Let them scare the children.
Yeah.
If you're letting your child go into a haunted house, you know they might cry. So yeah. I think he's probably doing his job pretty good.
He is literally doing what he's supposed to. I think you guys need to
calm your shit.
God knows what happened to those poor pumpkins.
Wait, what the fuck?
This person says, he seems perfectly harmless, if lonely to me. Downvote me if you will, but I saw nothing creepy. Well, except for making kids cry. And OP was stuck in this...
You weren't, stuck in there, though.
No,
you could have left.
But the thing is that they were alone with this guy in the haunted house for so long, and nothing happened.
Yeah.
Not a single... Besides him being like, hey, you're not that good of an actor. Which, honestly, slay.
Yeah.
I love that he was like, you suck. Get it together. If you're going to be an actor, if you're going to make it in Hollywood, you need to get your shit together. And you're not doing... I really need you to bring on the fear.
This is going to ruin the tour. You need to get it together.
Yeah. He could have really, put you through something to make you channel that fear.
He could have. You could have come out... quite a bit more traumatized.
But you didn't. And you know why? Because that guy just wanted to hang out. He just wanted a good time.
Honestly, you might just you're just mean.
You're just mean.
I've never claimed to be honestly that nice, but you are mean. Because they commented, also, now I work at a grocery store a block from the site of this incident. Wolfman comes in sometimes, being generally greasy and neckbeardy. He rides on one of those fat person scooters the store provides. I'm pretty certain he has no idea who I am. But when he comes through, I just stare at him. And someone's like, this is actually really creepy. I was like, no, it's not. It's just a guy at the grocery store. Calm your shit.
That is so mean. Greasy and neckbeardy. Okay.
To be fair, take a shower, shave the neckbeard. I don't like any of those things no matter what. Yeah. But if you have, I'm not going to shit on you on Reddit and be like, what a creep because you have a neckbeard. I'm like, okay, so maybe you could...
When we...
I feel like they've done other weird things. It's not the neckbeard.
My laugh just then was like...
Your scream?
No, I was thinking of that clip of that girl who's like, I'm not racist, but... yeah.
Not to be racist or anything, but Asian people...
That's what my laugh just sounded like.
Yeah. I feel like when we're judgy in these Reddit stories, it's because this person's like, oh yeah, show me your tits at a bus stop, you know? Yeah. And then they're also neckbeardy and weird. Yeah. They're not like, I'm going to scare some kids at a haunted house.
And you guys are going to make fun of me because I'm greasy and I don't have hygiene skills.
Try to make friends with the person I've been standing in a room with for 20 minutes.
Yeah, that poor guy.
Yeah.
He literally, has no friends. He's got a lazy eye and stuff. It's probably hard.
He already has it hard enough.
Yeah.
You don't need to be mean to him, too. Be mean to the people that deserve it.
And there's no reason to call him yes.
Yeah.
I immediately toned in.
Yeah, be mean to people who are on cults.
Yeah. This guy, there's no reason to call him Wolfman either, unless he likes that.
He might.
I would like to be called Meemaw and Wolfman. What? I was saying, two nights ago when I was getting on Faz after we recorded last time, I was like we were talking about something, and I was like, Meemaw is the best grandma name. I think that's like a killer grandma name.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really sad that I'll never be able to get called it though. And then Katie and Sarah were like, we'll call you Meemaw. I was like, wow, that's true friendship. Everyone just starts calling me Meemaw, so I get to be called Meemaw.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the What Was That podcast. I'm Jazzy and this is Meemaw.
I'm Meemaw.
I'm Meemaw.
I'm Meemaw.
Cute.
Story 2. The Rat Man.
Yo.
This is not my tale, but a friend's. However, I felt like it needed to be told as it's truly horrifying, so much that my friend has told it to several people and every time has been reduced to tears purely through recounting what he saw. It was a very short story, and to him, I expect the whole encounter lasted a full length around 3 minutes. We live in London, and my friend was walking back from his local bus stop home at around 3 to 4 in the morning. He lives in the rural end of London, so the streets were almost always empty at that time of night. My friend was walking down his long road, and he noticed movement about 100 yards ahead. As he got closer, he noticed that there was what seemed to be a man rustling in a bin, lit quite brightly by an orange light of a lamppost. However, as my friend was still quite far away from him, he couldn't make out the man's clothes or face. What he did notice was from afar, the man was severely hunched and had twitchy and erratic mannerisms. Slightly creeped out but not worried, he carried on walking, preparing to pass the man. However, he did decide to cross, so he was on the opposite side of the road as he passed him. As he came within 20 yards, this is when one of the most terrifying moments of my friend's life occurred. My friend was making no effort to be quiet as he came close to passing the mysteriously twitchy figure that lurked across the road. As he came close enough to be audible, his footsteps startled what my friend now calls the Rat Man. Upon hearing his footsteps, the Rat Man, in a single twitch of the neck, turned to face him, at which point a severely deformed face was illuminated by the orange light above him. My friend describes it as rat-like, a pointed jawline that protruded out of his head, with a nose that followed suit. His mouth was small and wildly out of proportion to the rest of his face, while his eyes barely showed any glint of light in the lamp. At this point, my friend froze, a bewilderment and heart-stopping fear. They shared a moment of what seemed like sheer eye contact as my friend stood like a statue, and the Rat Man stared and twitched directly in his direction. After a short, terrifying moment, the man suddenly dashed after, making a noise that my friends find hard to describe. Somewhere in between a yelp and a cry, leaping with what seemed to be the dexterity of a parkour expert on a garden fence, while proceeding to leap from that taller fence that ran perpendicular to it. He then disappeared behind the large fence into a house's garden, all while barely making a sound. My friend recounts lying awake in his bed until dawn, listening for any noise outside that could be Rat Man. After all, he might well have still been lurking around in his row of gardens. My friend to this day finds it hard to tell the story, which I fully believe in the encounter. As I said, he cries every time he tells it. Most of the time it's when he tries to describe the man's features. Remember, neither my friend nor I believe that this was some kind of freak of nature where a man was actually part rat. What terrifies me the most was that this man was both deformed in a terrifying manner and surprisingly dexterous while just living on the street. It could have been mental illness involved as well. The point is, we don't know, and that's what's so terrifying about the Rat Man. So even though you're definitely 100% human, Rat Man, let's not meet. Okay, another person making fun of the way somebody looks.
I know we just talked about that. However, I know you don't like Harry Potter, but my first thought is Peter Pettigrew. Here is... So he transforms into a rat. I'm like, what if you just caught Peter Pettigrew mid-transformation? They're in London anyway.
Yeah. See? There you go. Bada bing, bada boom.
Solved. This is Peter Pettigrew. other than that, you might be being kind of mean to someone who might be a little bit deformed.
Yeah.
And is eating out of the trash can.
I thought of, and I know you don't play Stardew Valley, but there's a character in it, Linus, and he's homeless, and he lives in a tent at the top of a mountain in Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
And one of the cutscenes for his character development is you find him digging around in the trash, and he gets caught, and he gets scolded and reprimanded.
Yeah.
And you come out, and you're like, are you okay?
Yeah.
So, and he's like, don't make fun of me. But that's
maybe you should play Stardew Valley and learn some empathy, OP.
That's what I imagined. Immediately when OP said that he was scrounging around in the trash, I was like, this man is just hungry. And he might be homeless, and like something bad might have happened, and so he got like disfigured, or he got a lot of severe facial damage, and now he's just struggling.
This is what I'm imagining.
That's really sad. And this guy came up and he's like, ah! He probably just like crushed his confidence. Witch! Straight into the ground. This guy literally was like, ah! And that's really funny that I do imagine like a split moment where he kind of just like starts crawling on the wall.
Yeah!
Parkour!
I want to know when this was posted, because like maybe there was a whole parkour craze.
Yeah, I remember. It was when everyone was planking.
10 years ago. Yeah, this
would be when everyone
was planking and everyone was like kicking their feet around and yelling parkour. So
somebody said cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Got him!
I just think it's a guy who's down on his luck, scrounging for trash, and your friend rightfully got scared. I would also, get scared if I saw that, but
also, not to make fun of your friend for their trauma, but this man looked at you, squeaked, and ran away, and you think he's gonna like break into your house now?
Yeah, right.
Like he couldn't even handle you being like looking at him.
Yeah, he was like, ah!
If he ran after you, for sure.
Yeah, that would be a whole separate story. Mm-hmm. That would be a real scary if he ran and followed you home and started like crawling on the side of the houses and trying to get to you. You're like running down the street.
Yeah.
It's like one of those scenes you see the lights like woof, woof, and it like you just see like in the shadow him moving from building to building in the darkness. You just see him go across the street, and then he's climbing on the side of the wall.
Yeah, little rat squeaks as he's going.
That's a real scary story.
Yeah,
this guy
horrifying.
just digging through the trash and going, ah! And running away. Yeah. No, dog.
Also, if we're gonna be mean here, what does your friend look like that this person saw them and ran?
And now another thing too that kind of makes me sad. OP said that their friend cries when they describe what he looked like.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Got a case of the ugly.
I'm ugly and I am proud.
That's one of my favorite episodes. It's so funny.
It is a really good one, but it is so I think that's really sad.
Yeah. Oh. Story 3. Creepy Cat Lady. As a longtime lurker of this subreddit, I finally decided to share my experience with you all. So, to begin, I live in a quiet neighborhood that's mostly occupied with elderly residents. However, across the street from our house is a family with one daughter only a year younger than me. We became quick friends after she moved in, and I would often visit her house. After a few visits, my friends told me about the lady that lived in an abandoned barn next to the property. Her designated name was Creepy Cat Lady. Oh, the creativity of 10-year-olds. Because I'd only heard stories about the girl, I hadn't believed my friend when she ran her mouth about this woman, but that all changed surprisingly quickly. When summer vacation came around for the school year, I would go over to my friend's house almost daily. My sister tagged along sometimes, and on this particular day, she'd come with me. The two had gone inside to fetch some water for our game, and I opted to stay out in the backyard. I heard a voice calling me over the fence that separated the barn and the house. Hello. This girl was very thin and had thickly framed glasses. Oh, she did not say hello like that, sorry. Her hair was unkempt, and she looked messy in general. I decided to keep my distance from the fence. Do you like cats? I didn't respond to her. She kept asking me to come closer, saying that she had some cats I could see. When my sister and friend came around, she got more aggressive, almost screaming at the three of us. My friend ran and got her mother, who called the police. Eventually, they got a restraining order on the woman, but my encounters with the cat lady didn't end. Around that time, I went to an elementary school that was in walking distance of my house. During summer, my sister and I would walk down there and play on the playground. Usually, we were the only ones there, but I always felt uneasy. Sometimes we would see movement in the woods by the park. The whole thing was just shady. So fast forward a bit, when my sister was away at camp and I was at the park alone. A few other kids were there and mothers were watching them, so no big deal. I went to the tire swings and began spinning myself around, checking the time with my watch every so often. Eventually, the other kids would leave and I'm left alone. I was about to leave as well until I heard a voice calling me from the hill leading to the woods. I turn around to see the creepy cat lady standing there, just staring at me. She starts walking towards me, and I start making my way towards home. The whole time she just follows me, and I can hear her mumbling incoherently. Eventually I turn around and see her just staring at me. I think she's done. My judgment failed me, however, and she starts running towards me. Because I wasn't the most in-shape kid ever, I knew I couldn't outrun her, but I had the advantage of being small. I sprinted to the portable classroom and hid under the porch of them, praying she didn't see me run under them. She obviously hadn't because she ran right past my hiding spot. When I finally got the courage to get up, I went straight home and told my mother. After a few police calls, we didn't see much of her again. Creepy cat lady, let's not meet. This is legit scary.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ooh, I don't like that.
Yeah, I was thinking that as you were reading it. My eyes kind of did dilate because I was like, I don't like this.
Hey, I don't like that.
I don't know if I like this. No, this is scary.
Yeah, because when it first started, I was like, okay, maybe you wanted to show people your cats. And then she started screaming and was like really insistent about it. I was like, or she was trying to kidnap you. And it's like, hey, do you want to see my cat?
You want to see my kitties?
Do
you want to see my cats? I've got cats. I've got cats. I've got cats.
I've got cats.
I've got.
Oh my god. Meow.
Yeah, I got a cat you ain't never seen before, kid. Get over here.
Meow, she.
Meow, meow, she.
I like to imagine that's how my cats talk.
I could see your cats having a
They're
transatlantic.
city kitties now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Merle has like a rough cowboy.
Oh yeah.
Like smoked way too many cigarettes. He's been around the block once or twice or 8 times because he's on his 9th lick.
Yeah.
But he's like, I don't know what you guys do around these fucking parts. Get this fucking dog away from me. Merle. Merle. That's how he meows, guys.
Yeah.
His name is Merle and he meows like Merle.
Yeah. Willow's hellos have gotten like too good.
Yeah.
Where it's starting to get unsettling.
Lilith goes, hello. I'm like, that's so cute. She does it every morning. Quentin will get up and feed the cats while I'm getting ready in the bathroom. And I always know when she's done eating because she goes into the bedroom looking for me every single morning. And she goes outside the door. She goes, hello.
Oh, that's cute.
I open the door and she comes in. She goes,
cute.
every single morning. It's literally the sweetest thing ever.
Yeah. No, Willow, I'll go like, hello. And she'll go like, hello.
Oh, I can't stop messing with my mic.
Yeah.
But our cats are cute. This lady...
Our cats are cute and real. I don't know about this lady.
Yeah, I feel like this lady might have like a bunch of stuffed animal cats and cat trinkets and stuff in her house.
Why, she probably does.
Mm-hmm. All of her wallpaper is cats.
It smells musty.
It smells like cat pee, but there's no cat in sight.
Yeah.
There's flies everywhere.
I don't know if I can tell this. I don't think they listen. To bring up Bettina in this episode, she is aware of a person who exists who, in all sincerity, was like, I wish I could give birth to a cat. She wants to be a cat. And we're like, oh, yeah, because they're so cute. Put it in a basket. And she's like, yeah, I want to, like, push it out of me and it would be mine. And I was like, so I'm going to go get some more refreshers.
You haven't watched It's Always Sunny, have you? Have you?
I've watched a good amount of it. I haven't seen everything.
You like, do you know the whole subplot with Maureen Ponderosa?
Who's Maureen Ponderosa? Hold on, what does she look like?
It
was my sleep show for a while.
So Maureen was married to one of the Ponderosas, and she got a divorce, but then she got with Dennis, and they got married for a very brief amount of time.
Yeah.
But then they got divorced, and he ended up owing her alimony, so she, like, stayed in his life a long time because he owed her money. Mm-hmm. But she went through a, quote, cat transformation. So she got ears, and she got, like, facial reconstruction to, like, make it more feline.
Yeah.
She wore collars. She would eat out of cat dishes, and she was like, I am a cat. She's like, meow, meow, meow. And then, like, they went to court, and she was saying something about how she was like, I can't, I'm a cat. And then he was like, why should I have to pay spousal support to a cat?
Also a fair point.
She, like, goes to the bathroom in a litter box.
Yeah.
And then when she dies, they bury her in a pet cemetery. Because she's a cat.
That makes a ton of sense. Yeah, I have not seen anything beyond season 6.
Yeah.
It's at the beginning, so.
Pretty dumb subplot, but.
Really funny. I think, I could be totally wrong. There was a thing where Lily Rose Depp was in a movie and she method acted for it, and it was a girl who thought she was a cat, so she also thought she was a cat.
Interesting.
So I trained for months to, act like a cat. And it was honestly a really fulfilling prep experience. I loved
Did
it.
you, like, drink milk out of a saucer?
I actually did.
You did?
Because it was over, we were supposed to shoot, and then it was like COVID happened and everything.
So you lived as a cat.
So I was alone in my mom's house and everything, and I would like ask my mom to like put out bowls of like water for me on the ground, and I would like kind of crawl around for parts of the day and do that. Because I was just like, well, we have nothing to do, so I might as well just prep intensely. That was fun.
I love her.
She's so funny. She's so beautiful.
She's so beautiful. She's such a gorgeous,
like
gorgeous.
a painting.
Yeah.
What's
Anyway.
it like looking like a painting.
Yeah, this story is actually scary. I would not want to ever see this woman ever again. That's so scary.
No. Mm-mm. This is someone to have nightmares about crawling into your bedroom. Oh my God.
Yeah, because they would. They would crawl into your bedroom.
And like someone to tell your dad about and be like, hey, Dad, kick him out of the pumpkin patch, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You do not want them in your haunted house.
No, you do not. She's going to sit in the corner and meow and then like start
Oh my God, I
like
hate
slowly crawling towards you. And she's like, you want to see my kitty?
And then she just goes, meow! Yeah. And like her mouth is like too big. Everything's like that dark lighting. Yeah, we need trademark, patent, copyright when we pop off real big. And then they're like, oh yeah, we'll let you start making movies now because you have so many ideas. Like those brothers that were YouTubers that
made Talk to Me.
Yeah. We'll be that and we'll make a spooky movie and one of them will be about the cat lady.
Yes.
Yeah.
Patent pending. Sorry,
Patent
guys.
pending, we hit it big and make $1 and then studios pay us to make movies. Mm-hmm. How cool would that be? What a life trajectory that would be.
I know. That is end goal for me, is to work either at my own horror movie production company or some other horror movie production company, but I want to make scary movies.
Yeah.
I want to.
So good at it.
We would be so good. I'm like, we should just do it.
Do it. Yeah.
I feel like, it would be hard and a lot of work, but I feel like we could do it.
There's like people that I've met at the film industry meetups that would take me to. I made quite a few connections. I'm, as it turns out, pretty likable. So
yeah, I think we could do it. We could.
I know a guy.
Write a script. We just need to hire some people who can film.
Yeah.
And then we have director's eyes. We can manage that, and we can cast people. Obviously, we'll be the two leading ladies.
Duh. Written, directed, acted. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
It's
get
a
an-
2-man show. I'm the cat lady, you're the kid.
The costuming is just like thrift store tablecloth and E6000.
Oh my god,
like, is
yeah,
that
I have
still
cat ears.
Addison?
Just like the like black Amazon cat ears and a little tail and a little bow tie.
Yeah, I'm a cat, duh.
Yeah. Anyway, story 4. Story 4. The Skyesville Monster. I just discovered this sub and have been reading your stories. Some are quite frightening. I have a tale from a long time ago I thought I would share. I think it belongs here. I hope I don't bore you.
We'll find out.
I am now a 72-year-old man. This happened long ago, but I remember it so well. The background of this series of events that placed me in a mountain cabin outside of Frederick, Maryland, circa 1969 or 1970. Let's just say that my life at the time was in disarray. I had dropped out of college, my father had died very suddenly and very badly, and I was alienated. I needed to get my mind right. The opportunity to move into an isolated cabin, to live in contemplation and solitude, was welcome. I had some inheritance money to pay for it. To the best of my memory, I was there 8 to 9 months. No TV, but I had books and a radio. I had a library card, but I can't even remember if I had a phone. The story begins when, a month into my stay, a female beagle showed up at my door. She was a lost dog, and I took her in. Never could I train her to do anything, but I fed her, and she was a sweet, if not the brightest dog. A few months in, I began to feel a presence around the isolated cabin. Hard to describe, but it felt like someone was watching. On many occasions, I thought someone might even be looking in my cabin window, watching us. The next phase was the shadowing or the following. I knew the folks a half-mile down the lane, woods all around, and would sometimes visit them at night. Someone, something, was waiting for me and followed closely in the woods behind me in the darkness. You could hear it easily, footsteps in the woods, and it picked up its pace as I did. This not only happened to me, but to my younger brother who visited, and to friends, and it spooked them big time. At night, it was out there, around my cabin. Here's the funny thing. I was never afraid. I never felt threatened. Not at all. But at least early on. There was no feeling of malevolence. I spent a good bit of time wandering the vast areas of woodlands around me. There was a state park just up the hill, and the Frederick Municipal Forest went on for miles and miles and miles after that. The whole of western Maryland was much more country than it is now. None of the development had set in yet. In our hikes, the dog and I, we came across evidence of campsites, recent ones, in the woods. Traces of fires, old abandoned buildings that had corners that gave shelter and looked slept in. Garbage, food and drink, paper, what have you. Perhaps hunters, but much of it did not have the organized feel you would get with experienced hunters. The last month of my stay was when things intensified. Maybe he sensed I was preparing to leave. In the mornings, I would find small, dead animals at the bottom of my porch steps. The cabin had a small front porch, screened in with a light door, and 4 wooden steps to the ground. A spotlight would illuminate the long front yard, with woods close by on either side. Dead animals began to appear at the bottom of the step every morning. I remember small birds, then a squirrel, a rabbit, even a weasel one day. Like they were offerings. I had to grab them up before the dog ate them. This went on daily for several weeks. One night, very late, I was awoken by some sound. I lay in bed and hear something from the porch. I hopped up, hit the lights, and saw that hound dog, who never learned to sit or stay, standing at the front door, in a perfect point position. She was shaking in fear. She never barked. I heard the door slam and footsteps down the steps. I hit the spotlight but saw nothing. It went out. Nope. I went out. He had been on the porch at my front door, maybe trying to enter. After that, I stayed in at night more and more. The animal offerings got bigger and bigger, larger birds, a possum, a woodchuck. It was not funny. The 2 final gifts were legs from either horses or cows. Big and bloody. One was skinned. Holy shit. The second to last day, the dog left me. I could hear her in the woods howling on a trail following a scent. I looked for her in every way I could, came up in the following weeks, but to no avail. She left as she came. I moved back to the Maryland suburbs of D.C., got an apartment with a friend, got a job, and moved on with my life. One day, not long after I picked up the Washington Post, there was an article about recent encounters with the Scarsville monster. It described a tall, Yeti-like creature, fur-covered, on 2 legs that would pick out a family or a person and give them attention. I wasn't the only one. That attention described in the article was exactly what happened to me. Following you at night, looking inside the house, gifts, and so on. I was shocked. If I had turned on that spotlight and seen a Bigfoot or a Yeti, I might still be running. But I think I know who it was. Scarsville, Maryland was the location of the Springfield Hospital Center, a large state psychiatric hospital. It was 20 miles or so east of Frederick. Back then, many folks who knew how to live in the woods, they grew up that way, country folk. I think the monster was an escaped patient or just a free schizophrenic who lived outside. This is like all homeless you see in cities now. Probably off his meds and somehow functional and lonely. He would pick people or families to adopt. The camps in the woods could have been him. Nothing to do, he would make mischief. I think he liked me, but sensed I was leaving. I can't prove any of this, it's just my theory. The monster was very much of the time and place, and his behavior was what I noticed in nearly every case on. I do not think he could have survived until the 80s, deinstitutionalization of mental hospitals threw the mentally ill out into the streets and took away the shelter of hospitals. Unprotected, the mentally ill die. So, that's it. And that's the end of that story. That's actually really spooky.
Yeah, I feel like they're probably right with
It being some person.
Because my thought was like feral people.
Yeah, that's probably the wisest thing. It would be, I would have left so early on, though, if I kept going outside and seeing dead things on my front porch. No way would I have stayed there.
Well, especially like if OP is right and they were getting nervous about them leaving, it's like bigger and bigger offerings. So maybe I'll convince you to stay. It would be my thought.
Yeah.
I can't do body parts, corpses, any of that.
I can't do anything dead unless it's like, it doesn't look like what it was. Like I can do a hamburger because I don't know.
You have taxidermy.
Well, yeah, but that's different. It's different because it's not like a, you know, like they look like what they are. Like my little duckling looks like a duckling. Like it's just like
it does.
And that's cute. I for me, I'm like and I touch them all the time. I'm like
if I ever have to like set something on your desk or like I like.
That's crazy.
I don't like it.
It's so cute. It's so cute.
No,
but I don't like dead things. Like if I went outside, if I saw me gonna cry. I saw somebody hit a prairie dog.
Oh, that's the worst.
The other day.
Yeah.
And that made me cry.
Yeah, that would make me cry too.
Yeah, it was on my way to go wedding dress shopping, and I like literally I was like,
oh, I hate that. Well, yeah, because like driving to the office, there's that road where the little prairie dog holes are like by the street.
Yeah.
And I think I already told you, but I remember like driving and there was like one sitting in like the bike lane, like looking like a little baby one just like looking back and forth, so confused. Yeah. And I'm in like heavy traffic and I'm like watching like my rearview mirror and its mom like ran out and got it and ran back thankfully, but I was so stressed out. I was like, I'm so ready to like stop my car and go save this baby. I was like, do you throw a blanket over it and then throw it back in the hole? Will its mother still love it if it has human scent on it? I don't know.
Yeah. No, this one was like, I saw it was like, it ran in front of me as I was driving. So I like, I know you're all supposed to do, but I swerved.
Oh, I'm swerving.
So I like swerved, so I missed it. And he was like, I saw him like, like, you know, like kind of like duke out, like trying to be like, where do I go? And so I was like, okay, I didn't hit it. Yeah. And I like kept driving. I looked in my rearview mirror and the person behind me did it. I was like, oh my God.
They probably cried. My high school boyfriend was such a piece of shit. There was one time we were driving in his grandparents' neighborhood, and I was driving the car, and he, like, stomped his foot down, and I thought I had hit a cat or something, and I was like, did I hit something? He's like, yeah, you did. And I just sobbed. And as I was sobbing, a bird came and hit the side of my mirror, and then it died.
That's so sad.
There's a whole stint in my life where, like, a lot of birds would, like, fly into glass and just die around me.
Ew.
I don't know. It's done now.
I hate that.
But I don't know what that was.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either.
You should get
These
this. I'm
birds
glad it
keep
doesn't
coming
have
into
any.
my yard and killing
No,
themselves.
what do I do? I can't help it. Cops don't arrest me. They keep doing it to themselves.
They have a suicide pact or something.
But yeah, this is I mean, I would be really scared. This reminds me, and I don't know why, but there was that book I read about Sasquatches.
Yeah.
The scary book that I read. Mm-hmm. And they would throw body parts of the people that they would kill.
I don't like that.
So that's
Not
what
a
made me
fan of
think
that at
No,
all.
it was a super scary book. It was really good, but it was really graphic.
Hunt still in progress. Okay, this guy included like 2 links
Yeah.
for reading materials. And it's got eyewitnesses and truck drivers' reports.
Yeah.
Is this UOP?
Are you the big guy?
You're the guy writing this article. But yeah, I could totally see it being like someone who escaped from the institution or someone who like just grew up.
And
the
they're
country.
living out in the woods. That would explain all the like disorganized camping stuff.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think what some of these posters saw are probably not as spooky as they made it out to be. It is having me think about if a real rat man was out there. Peter Pettigrew, if you're out there, please don't come visit me. That is taking my fear to an entirely new level.
oh, that's so unfortunate. We are making so much progress. I can't say that story made my love for wolves lessen at all.
That's fair. You have to learn to separate the art from the artist.
So true. But you listeners will never have to do that. You can show your love for our art and us as artists by liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. You can follow us at all of the social media at whatwasthat_thepod. Or if you have your own story and would like to share it, email us at whatwasthat.thepod@gmail.com.
So back to the rats. Every time I hear them outside of the bushes, honestly, I entirely freak out.
I think I hear one like right now.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
No, I mean,
Don't mess with me, I swear.
I was like, wait.
Honest reaction, I don't like that.
Yeah, well, I
Scripted
mean,
reaction, don't mess with me. I'm serious.
I'm serious. No, but seriously, wait. What was that?